Good, and very much looking forward to this race. So, welcome everybody. This is stage one of a three-stage race, and we're starting with an individual time trial over in Harrogate. Our next race will be the Magnificent Eight, which is just 28.6 kilometer race, and then finally on Sunday we have the third stage, which is a 50k race, where pacing is going to be very, very important. So, Gemma, looking at Tour of Chewett which is our course today for the individual time trial, what are your takeaways from this? You're our expert rider. What are you thinking for this course as a time trial?
Well, straight away, Mike, you notice that I'm sitting here commentating and not riding it. That might tell you. That might tell you all you need to know. It's deceptive, really, because although it's only 10.4k and you think I can get that over and done quickly, just look at that course profile, the hills in it, and particularly the one close to the end, absolutely massive. So although it is an individual time trial, very different, the riders will be riding this differently to how they would a flat time trial. So it's going to be a little bit about pacing, but also just managing your effort on those hills.
Yeah, and interesting with obviously we're in Zwift now. The riders are going to be starting in groups. Can I just check? Often you can get a benefit in drafting within Zwift if you're following somebody in front. So how are they making sure that that's not going to be a disadvantage or advantage for various riders?
Yeah, so today the riders can see the other riders within their category. The categories are going off, I believe, in a minute difference between each one, but there's no draft turned on. So you will see them using their time trial bikes, which they're allowed to use today, but there will be no draft effect. But they still get the incentive of chasing others down within their category.
Ah, brilliant. So indeed, and it's going to be a hellish course. I have to say, I've raced on this course myself, and it's going to be such an interesting start to this tour because it is just so lumpy. And there's some of those lumps that you really have to get out of the saddle, and you're absolutely just churning and grinding away on those pedals to get yourself up some of those hills. But the good news is that as you come over the top, you've got that little bit of a break on the descents, even though, let's face it, for a time trial, you're probably still going to be pedaling as hard as you can. So there we go.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what bike choice the women use today. Most of them possibly will be on their time trial bikes, but there are some hills in there. So if they think that the hills are going to be more of a struggle for them, then they might go for a lighter choice. Let's see when we get out there.
Oh, yeah, great. Well, I'll tell you what, shall we cut to the Zwift feed at the moment? And let's just see if we can see people, some of our riders in the pen. Oh, look, there we go. Yeah, we've got a few. There's a few chats coming in, and good luck to everybody. So for everybody who is listening or watching our commentary, if you want to send some support into your favorite rider, your family member, or whoever's going to be riding today that you know, please send your messages into the chat, and we will be able to mention your rider and see where we can call things out for them.
We've got some riders joining us today as well on the live stream. We've got Mary Dutson there, Jordan Johnson, and I believe we possibly have another lady, but I'll come back to you on that. I can't see her at the moment.
Excellent. Well, we'll hopefully be able to keep in touch with some of those riders and just see how they're pacing themselves, how they're working, and what they're doing. So, Gemma, you are. Well, I think we're just about on the countdown now for the last minute. So, what are people doing in these last few seconds as they're getting ready for a time trial?
Well, this is quite a short and hard effort time trial. So though it won't take them long when they're out there, they should have had a really good warm up and well fueled, but well out of the way. They probably ate quite a while ago now. Really good warm up to get out of that start pen as quickly as possible and head towards that first hill. I can pretty much guarantee it will feel fairly horrific from the first 30 seconds, unless that's something that they really enjoy, possibly. some of the other riders, so the A category starting first, the B, C and D have got a sort of a minute delay in each one, so they've got that little bit longer. But yes, I imagine they're getting a little bit nervous now, waiting for that countdown to go and kind of chasing each other. Although there's no draft, they've still got the incentive of seeing each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? Funnily enough, a little while ago, we were talking on our podcast actually about what is it that makes you ride faster, and is it chasing a time? Is it racing? What is it? And it seems to come down to if there's someone in front of you, there's just something about it for you to chase. So it's going to be great with this time trial. There's no physical benefit. There's no physic benefit from chasing somebody down. No draft, but there is always that incentive if you can see someone in front of you to just keep churning those pedals and see if you can get slightly closer to them.
Yeah, remember as well, you don't know other people's tactics. I don't know if there is any, but they may be thinking, don't go out quite so hard and try and save some for the hills, or you may go all out and just try and hold on. You never really know. You will never know because the ladies aren't in contact with each other most of the time. There's no team tactics either, so they're just everyone for themselves, really trying to get the best time they can.
Indeed. Right. Well, I'm just trying to see if we can see some of the names in the pen at the moment. Right. So we are now waiting for that first off. Now, interesting thing with the time trial, unlike normal Zwift racing or other races where people are flat out waiting to ride, you can see here that the first group are all sedentary, just waiting to go. So you don't get the ability to build up those well, in your case, Jem, several thousand watts just before the flag drops.
Thanks, Mike. I'm not sure it's 1,000, but maybe some more watts. Here we go.
Yeah,
We're into it now.
That's it. And there's yep, there we go. Now, who have we got? Watty Inc. Right, brilliant. So we've got some people obviously ride for different teams as well that are in there. And plenty of people on Tron bikes. Now, for those of you who are perhaps new to Zwift racing, if you're on one of these Tron bikes, it means you've put in the effort to get there because you've got to qualify to get it. You've got to earn those bikes rather than simply buy them. So brilliant to see that there's so much experience in this team, these groups.
Yeah, I think that's Tilburn from Watty Inc. there. She's currently in 12th at the moment because they set off together. This is fairly accurate of where they're going to be, but as I say, they may do differently on different things on the hills. We've got one of the Brewer sisters in here. We've got Barker, Lawson, popular rider. She's always competing in these events and love her every minute of it, I think.
Oh yeah, is that Lara Lawson?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, excellent, brilliant, well known to many of us. And also interesting, coming back to Tilburn, I hadn't appreciated. She's actually joining us from all the way over in Alberta in Canada. And in fact, the reason she started Zwift was because of those cold winters and trying to find somewhere to train and keep going.
I think we're just getting some information through, actually. If you... we mentioned about the riders possibly being on their TT bikes, but there has been an issue where they weren't allowed to select their TT bikes. So that's why, although we hyped it up, no one seems to be on them. And that's why they've probably selected the Tron bike as the next best one. So I don't believe we'll be seeing anyone on TT bikes today. That's why they've gone for these Tron. Most of them have gone for their Tron bikes.
Ah, that makes sense.
There you go, Mike.
That does make a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense.
Excellent. Great. We have got 16 riders, I believe, in this category. Oh no, there's slightly more, 16 riders. I can't see it. It's a little bit small for me. All competing against each other in the A category. It must be a little bit strange, actually. It always is when you set off on a group start, but an individual time trial. You are so used to receiving some draft from other riders that your brain must naturally engage that when you get close to them, you can ease up a little bit. And I wonder how these riders are feeling when that just doesn't happen and they have to put in the same effort and yet they're really close to the riders.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you know what? I'm sure there is some mental impact on it, though. As soon as you, I don't know about you, it always seems easier when you're riding down the hill, even when you're in the ERG mode and it's fixed. So I'm sure, and I always still find myself leaning when I get into a corner in Zwift, which again, so I'm sure there is some mental thought of once you can tuck up behind somebody and just chase them down.
I can't remember. You might know this slightly better than me, Mike, because I think you rode this recently. Whether they can get into any super tuck on this course.
I'm just trying to think. When I did it, as I was in a team time trial, so there was a bunch of us, and so we were able to keep the speed up. I think it's going to be borderline actually on this particular course on those descents, because although they're quick, I'm not quite sure if they're quite quick enough for you to get into super tuck. But you never know. We will soon see.
We're watching Mary now from the B category, Mary Dutzen. We do have her live cam feed as well, so we're trying to get that up at the same time.
Yeah, and Mary's actually relatively new to Zwift, because she just started about 9 or 10 months ago with the Zwift racing. But you can see there just how much commitment she's already getting into it. And she moved from being in the D category to the B category in the space of just 5 months. So
is that similar to you, Mike?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wish
I'm sorry.
I am in awe of Mary, trust me. But you can see she's really putting in the effort, and yeah, already starting to see a gap between her and the people behind her, which is brilliant. Though interestingly, Mary, do you know what? Mary doesn't actually ride in the real world. She doesn't. She focuses on Zwift, which is great. But we'll perhaps have to invite her out on a Velocino ride at some point just to get her out there.
Yeah, or a Velocino, a virtual ride, if not.
Indeed. So you can see already they're starting to separate out, a bit more of a split as obviously people start to stretch out. As you said, Gemma, there might be people might have slightly different plans where they're going to put in the push and where they're going to relax.
Oh, there we go. There's Mary. Yeah, there's Mary. It's a slightly strange time, I was going to say, for the riders to ride as well. I mean, I know they're coming from all over the world, but usually there are set times of what would be in the evening in the UK. But now we are we're a sort of late afternoon now. It just reminded me there because I thought, oh, it's daylight for Mary.
Yeah, we also, I think, because it's a late afternoon rather than normally one of our perhaps evening or rides. We are probably expecting, just like many of us that have been stuck for lockdown, there'll probably be a DPD, there'll probably be a delivery. Someone will get a knock on the door. But there we go. Now, Gemma, when you're looking at an individual time trial, when you're racing, how do you set out the plan and your pace? Is it based on power? Is it targeting in certain parts of the race? Or is it based on heart rate? How do you do it?
Yeah, the riders will certainly have an idea of what kind of power they can hold for the amount of time that it takes them over this course. Now, it's really difficult. It's not a flat course, so their power sort of dips up and down. It's not as easy as to control as a flat course. They will know. They will also know, I don't know whether this is fortunately or unfortunately, how their heart rate is correlating to that. And I know we've all been there when you see that you're doing your watts that you think you should be good at and your heart rate is through the roof, you start panicking.
Yeah, absolutely. You start to wonder if you can breathe properly and if there's something else going on. Oh, brilliant. We've got Jordan on as well for our as one of our featured riders, which is absolutely brilliant. Again, there, looking into a nice, good rhythm.
Yeah, Jordan looks very relaxed there.
I was just going to say, you can see, just take a moment, relax the shoulders, and keeping in that good rhythm, because that's one of the tougher things. Perhaps it's just coming up to or just over one of the hills. I think we've got one of the screen seems to be frozen. I'm not sure if people can see more than we can, but you can certainly see getting into a good rhythm there to get through.
Yeah, now Jordan's only been riding in Zwift even shorter than Mary, actually 4.5 months. She needed to start riding her bike to rehab a knee injury that she had. She partially tore her ACL in September, so she couldn't ride outside. She had just an old trainer to start with that she used with a power meter, sorry, but then got a smart trainer and has been riding on Zwift ever since.
Oh, brilliant. Do you know what? It's amazing. Obviously, for those of you who are watching and aren't aware, we're part of a podcast, and we've interviewed quite a number of professional cyclists and that like. And it's amazing how many people get into cycling because they're rehabbing from an injury in another sport. So
usually running.
Usually running, yes. Although Anna Henderson, who is currently riding for Jumbo Visma, she was a national level skier and broke her leg and has rehabbed. So there'll probably be a number of the field here that are perhaps rehabbing or just focusing on this to get themselves ready for other events as well.
Now, I realise, viewers, that you are not able to see the Zwift screen. All you can see is myself and Mike. We had some problems communicating, so we're just trying to bring that back up now. We've got some other riders with us today. We're going to try and head straight back into the C category, I believe. See if we've got some riders in there.
It's for those of you that are from perhaps joining us from other countries and aren't aware of Harrogate. Harrogate is the ride that they're doing in Zwift is actually a really, really nice place to be. It's I think they put on the ad that you were going to get the lovely countryside views, and I can reassure you that if you do come to the UK and go riding, do head to Harrogate. It's genuinely a brilliant place to go for a ride.
I don't know whether it will put these ladies off or not. We're back, which is great. Back into the CCAT riders now, and we're looking at Mosden here from KISS Racing Team.
Yeah, and the one thing actually, if you do come to Harrogate, just make sure you stop in one of the tea rooms because they are absolutely fantastic. So we're with Kristen Watson here. She's moved herself up into the C category fairly recently, which is great. And the thing that makes her go faster is exactly what we were saying at the beginning, is chasing down competition, she says. So the thing that's going to make her go even faster is if she can see somebody in front of her, I guess, as she's doing the time trial. So at the moment, look, she's doing a great job there of gapping to some of the others as well.
Yeah, and just the other difference, as we were saying earlier, about the difference between the time trial and if you're racing it. Normally, if you see a 1 second gap, you think, I am never going to make that up. But in an individual time trial, remember, there's no draft benefit. So even if someone is a second ahead of you, they're not in a group as such. So there is the likelihood that you might make it back up. And we've just seen a couple of riders to come together and do that on screen.
Yeah. And we're watching with Brooke now. Look at that. Brooke has got a couple of people in front of her, which is great. Again, somebody who's got into Zwift by wanting to try and find some way of exercise indoors. And it's amazing how these things start. You start off with just the simple idea of doing something just for a short period of time. And then before you know it, you are hooked and sucked in and find yourself racing. You can see Mary there on our live feed at the moment. She's just really putting it in. Yeah, go, Mary, go. Come on. I can see that she's out.
I imagine that Mary is on a hill right now.
I was going to say, we can't see where she is, but we imagine she is on a hill just coming up to the top there. And you can see Brooke keeping a nice, even tempo. Really, really good on the power. Nice and steady power there as well.
That's good. We're going to try and cut to the D category in a minute, where we've got some riders from there. I can let you know how many we've got in the D cat. Quite a few, actually. We've probably got about 15 riders in the D category today.
Oh, good. And we've got within this, obviously, we've got people racing. We've got a stage race. We've got 3 days of racing here, and it might be that some of the people have targeted individual parts of this to make the most of their time. Oh, look at this. Brooke is getting past people. Oh, actually, that's a stopped rider, I think.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Someone's obviously perhaps having an internet problem. but she's going great, and she's just onto the hill. Oh, this is the one that just keeps on giving. If you come round towards the end of this, it just kicks up and kicks up and kicks up and is painful. On our live feed, we can see that Mary must have come over that hill, whatever she was on. She's back, sat on the saddle, trying to keep it as a nice, even pace as well.
Yeah, we're having some trouble getting to the DCAT. We're just trying to find a rider now, actually.
Yeah. But look, Brooke is doing a great job here. She's got a slightly lower RPM than she had before. Her heart rate's going up, but she's maintaining power, which is brilliant as she's coming up some of these hills. And she's got the 13% bit. This is the bit that really hurts, but believe it or not, people, it actually gets slightly worse towards the top. But she's and there it goes. Yeah, 14%. She's doing an absolutely brilliant job. Just, and I'm sure if anybody's been in that place, you know what it's like. You just try and hold your breath and put all the power in you can just to get over that hill, knowing you've got a bit of a breather just the other side.
Also, the tricky bit in this course is that the riders, obviously, I know, but that we don't always do this when we're riding Zwift, just have to change gear quite a bit. And it's going to sound really basic, but they may even have to swap from their little ring to their big ring and back again. And that is actually a skill in itself, knowing when to change gear, just like in the outside world, really. Because one slip of the paddle and you've moved into the wrong gear, and you do find yourself a couple of seconds back, and it's very frustrating. And it gets you out of any rhythm that you thought you were in the first place.
Absolutely. Yeah. And look, Brooke's doing a cracking job there. Managed to get past one person in front of her, which is brilliant. It's one of the small wins, is it? As you just get through it, get past. Right. Are we into I think we're into
it's still the C category, but we've got Willis in front of us now.
Great. And again, she's just coming over the top of that hill. 182 beats per minute. You never know what people's limits are, but that's pretty high for most people. So it's going to be now, once she gets over the top on that flatter section, how much can she recover while still putting the power down as much as possible?
So that's Rebecca Willis from Rave. We're going to try and go into the A+ category now, which we missed out, actually, viewers. Sorry about that. We've gone on to them. They've gone so fast that we've missed them. We're going to try and get to them. And if not, we'll just switch to the A's for a little bit. Let me try and find someone in the A+ category for us.
Great. Also, a good array of kits that we've got going on. I'm not sure how many other people are some of the people watching are into their Zwift racing as well, but it's always one of the hardest decisions to make is what kit do you put on your avatar? What wheels do you put on your bike? How do you make sure that the whole thing is looking as good as you aspire to?
Do you know what's even better than that? Oh, we've just swapped to the A category. I'll come back to that in a minute, actually. So we're watching Comfort now from Watty Inc. She's in the A category.
Yeah.
Jennifer Comfort. And she's riding in 14th position at the moment. Good position there for her. She could... she's got a fair gap, actually, so not great incentive to the one in front, and the one behind is a fair gap as well. But if she can hold that there, she'll be doing a great job.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible competition. And although we've got A's, B's, C, D, cats, there's going to be huge talent throughout all of it. And there's going to be different ones of these events that will be better for different people. But you can see here, you're looking up ahead of her, Lawson there is already was chucking out 4.2 watts per kilo. So there's some huge power in this A's and A+.
There is, and this race series is actually a little bit different from the others. There's always different events that will suit the riders differently. They'll look to target, but these are actually very different. You've got this today, we've got the much longer event on Sunday, and we have even a different course again tomorrow. So we might see the leaderboards change quite a bit, which I know will be interesting. We're back to Laura now. Laura Lawson here, riding for Ionian. She is chucking out the watts.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think this again is one of the timings. You can see that. I mean, I doubt she could sustain this for the entire that kind of power level. But you can see that she's really putting absolutely everything into this last section that it will be for her, because it's flat. She can the more power she puts in, the more time she's going to be making up in this short term. We can also see Mary is coming towards the end. She's getting her. She's back out of the saddle, putting absolutely everything into it. She's also got her own domestique stood next to her, helping her out.
We'll see if we can get Mary on the Zwift stream for when she finishes. I think she must be quite close to finishing now. We're seeing some of the A riders come through on the finish now. We're going to see them as they go through and then switch through the categories.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Mary must be coming straight into there. And we've got this. It's one of those strange things as you come through is just that ability to recover as you get through the end of this and thinking about the stage race for tomorrow. So people are going to be coming through on that finish, be absolutely shattered. But actually, one of the best things you can do is stay on the bike and keep pedaling for at least another 20 minutes or so to get rid of that lactic acid. Make sure that you're rested for tomorrow and ready for the next event.
Yeah, our riders are going to have to think about that. Actually, as hard as they've worked today, they're going to have to work even harder tomorrow and Sundays, as you said, Mike.
Yep.
So they need to be preparing for that, as they would with any stage race, really. I think this is probably one of the incentives for these women, that they like to do these events back to back because it gives them sort of a different challenge.
I think we've actually, because some people have finished the race, we're actually now, as you can see, in open Zwift as there's many other people in the group. So
we're just trying to go back. We've got Jordan now. There we go. So Jordan's coming in. So Jordan's still got about 3K to go. We'll see if we can find anyone from the B and the C category, but it's great to see Jordan here. She's back on the, flat 1%, minus 1%. So she's probably feeling that relief. She still looks pretty calm there.
Yeah.
As she goes to wipe her brow and actually shakes her head at that calmness. Come on, Jordan. You're doing particularly well here. Well done.
Yeah, there's a good rhythm to that shoulder movement. She still looks pretty relaxed. She's breathing, making sure that she's managing her effort. Doing great. Probably feeling horrible, but doing great. Really good.
Really well. It's a warm day today in, I'm assuming, most parts of the world. Now that we're coming into kind of spring, summer in most places. I do understand, not everywhere. So we've got Reed head now from the D category as well. She's got about 2.5K to go. Oh, I don't know what's happened to her. Maybe she is super tucking. No, she's back. She's back on it.
Yep, there we go. Yeah, big variations there in the power. So maybe she's...
yeah, she seems to have smoothed out a little bit now. Maybe it was just she was taking a break.
Yeah.
We know what that's like when you really want to stop pedaling.
Absolutely. You just want to stop pedaling just
looking
for
those
2 seconds.
I'm just going to cut in because although we haven't got her on Zwift, I can see Mary on the live stream and she is absolutely going for it.
She is. We're she's doing. She must be coming to the end.
She's at the end. There we go. Look at that. She's sat up. Well done, Mary. Brilliant ride from you.
Absolutely brilliant. Very well done.
Let's see if we can see those other riders in now. So the CCAT must be only maybe a K or so to go, and then we will switch back to the D category for the finish.
Brilliant. So we're watching Melissa Tilburn here, and she's been riding Zwift for 3 years. You can see she's got a Tron bike, and also she's got some of the smartest kit. Look at that.
That does look good. Yeah. She's got a time trial helmet on there, which means she must be a pretty high level Zwifter actually to have got that. Yeah, she's just cooling down now. We're going to try and go to someone in the CCAT.
Yeah, she was actually another person transitioning from another sport, as she used to swim for the Canadian national team, and her claim to fame is she got to carry the torch for the 1988 Olympics. So obviously steeped in training and sporting ability, and turning it over to cycling, just like many other people.
Yeah, we're going to try and find these riders still coming in. I think we're having some problems with the companion app, as is always the case. But
Yeah,
we're trying our best.
indeed. For those of us, all of us have been on Zwifter. Every now and then, something doesn't quite work as you wanted it to. I'm sure mine's broken and just steals all my watts whenever I'm
Oh,
racing.
that's what you. Yes, Mike. Yes, good point.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So
No, it's all,
at the end of this stage, if we're still watching there. At the end of this stage, there is going to be some results, obviously, for the stage, and they're going to go towards all three of the stages, and then the results overall for the whole series. So I expect the women will be looking out for those and then working out what they can do and who they can target kind of in race 2 going forward. So, we've found a rider, but she's finished. But she's still banging out. She's still doing the watts.
yeah. Unfortunately, we seem to be struggling to find riders until they've actually crossed the finish line. Which is,
And I
and it's
believe that Jordan has
Jordan,
finished.
and it looks like Jordan is. No, she's shaking her head. She's not quite there. She's not quite there. She must be just taking a moment, perhaps on one of the downhills.
Oh, yes, she is. There we go. We can see her now.
Yes,
Let's stick
there
in
you
with
go.
Jordan to the end. She's got just under a K to go. So Jordan is actually doing incredibly well. She is third
Yeah.
in the D category here.
Oh, brilliant. This is such a hard discipline to where you are pretty much racing yourself, and pushing yourself to within and beyond your own limits. And she's just a few seconds off the riders in front. So
Yeah, although
really
there
well.
is someone right up behind her as well. Oh, I think it's Reedhead as well. They are together. Different teams, actually, although obviously this isn't a team event, but they won't know each other. And Jordan will be trying to stay ahead, and so will Reedhead as well.
Yeah. This is actually quite a great way to have a time trial, in the sense that you're not getting a benefit, but you're certainly able to keep going. So I think we've got another finisher just coming up here. This
Yeah, it's
is
Annette Kemp. Yeah, Annette Kemp from Cryogen. She's just about to cross that finish line. She's coming in. She may even be first, actually, because it thinks that I am.
Yes, there we go. Yeah.
Excellent.
There's a
Let's
fellow.
see some of these other D riders coming in now.
Yeah, I think she was just second, actually, behind Longley from Velovix.
Oh, got it. Perfect.
Just, yep. But it is one hell of an effort from everybody, you can see. So once you get through the line, though, Gemma, how do you try and recover from an event like this when you know you've got to perform the next day?
Well, I would try and cool down as best I can. I don't spend any particular long time on the bike, but I would probably cool down as best I can, spin my legs, make sure I try and keep moving for the rest of the day, and try and get some nutrition in me. Although they haven't been riding for a long in terms of time, they would have expended a lot of energy and burnt a lot of sugar. So that I will try and refuel as best I can, and maybe just keep moving, just maybe go on a lovely walk later on.
Just keep those legs moving and make sure that the lactic acid just moves completely away. Brilliant.
I think that everyone has finished now, so we're going to introduce the ride for tomorrow and say thank you to the riders that we've had today. It's been a short broadcast, actually, but it's only going to get longer.
It is. And tomorrow, before we start, we're going to be able to go through some of the results from today, so that we can see who's won. It's not always easy in Zwift to be able to track who's got where and when across these different places. But we just also like to say a big thank you to our riders, to Mary and to Jordan, that were good enough to share their video with us, because I think that really adds to the Zwift experience, to see where people are and how much effort they're putting in at that time. We don't know where they've come yet, but we really do congratulate them, as you can see from the effort they're putting in.
Yeah, tomorrow we head back to Watopia. We've got Magnificent 8 as the course. So it's one lap, 28.6k. There's a small lead in. So they get some power ups, and they will be racing against each other in the different categories. So back to drafting, back to bikes that can do that as well. So that's going to be good and different from today. I'm looking forward to it already.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Jem, any top tips for racing the figure of eight?
Magnificent eight, but yes.
Magnificent eight.
But I can give you my top tips for a figure of eight if you wish, Mike.
Yeah. No, I was going to say no. Magnificent eight is even better.
I'm not sure. It starts with a bit of a hill. They ride around the volcano across the bridge, which is often it seems flat, but it's a bit of a false flat there. And then the reverse hilly KOM. So there's a hill sort of in the middle, some flats there. So the ladies with big power are really going to benefit on that flat section as well. And then they come in sort of back into downtown Watopia to finish. So, and there's some sprint points there as well.
Oh, great.
Stay in the group is my top tip.
Stay in the group, wait to the end, go for the sprint, come first. Brilliant. Yes. Well, look, good luck to everybody tomorrow. And I hope you rest ready for tomorrow. And yes, thank you for everybody who's been watching. And we will see you tomorrow, where we will be back again for the Andrasta Tour.
Lovely. Thanks, Mike.